So the boss went to Kaikoura today and he's not going to be here tomorrow. So the boys went to the pub for lunch and they didn't come back for like an hour. And they were all very happy when they got back and the music went up and the roller door came down, so we all closed ourselves in. And I got a beanie and I got a t-shirt as well from the reps, so, and a couple of little things of my own, like little bog knives and stuff, so I'm settling in, and it's a pretty good little crew. And I'm leaving early. It's only a few minutes, but I'm going early because the boss isn't here. Friday 18th of September, last day of work for the week, yay! And I'll probably have a short day today because I did those extra hours. And it's raining. It started raining yesterday and it's freezing again, freezing. So I'm glad I got my new beanie and I got double socks on, but I don't think it's going to be a bad day. I think it'll warm up a little bit, but not like West Australia warm up. It's like warm up Christchurch, which is I think maybe 14 degrees will be our warmest. Anyway, there's a couple of interesting things to note. There's a little I've stayed, aside from the guys until I did that painting and they were happy with my work, and it was kind of like the whole workshop, sighed with relief that, I turned out to be okay, I guess. And then so they've started to talk to me and include me a little bit. So when I went to stand in the sun at Smoko, a few of the guys have come across and sat around and whatnot, so that was really cool until Fish, yes, he's a bit of a character. He has no shirt on underneath his overalls and big mirrored sunnies and spiky hair, and he's kind of pretty cool. He's a contractor and works there a bit but not full time, and he's come across and he's immediately harassed one of the apprentices. And then it was a scuffle, like, don't touch me, you C-U-N-T. And I could see where this was heading, and it's a pecking order thing. He's slotting himself in above the apprentice, but he's not as one of the full-timers. So it's kind of interesting, and I knew where that scuffle was going. I've seen that before. And some of the guys kind of smiled, the younger ones, so I just got up and walked out, and I went to another space and sat down to finish my smoker on my own. But the really interesting thing was there was, I think, about 4 of the blokes walked out after me and came and stood back around where I was sitting. So that was really interesting. I think they understand where that scuffling was going. That it just escalates and involves more and more guys, and it'll go on for days if it's allowed to continue. And it's not something that I can get in on because being a female, I may be able to physically overcome some of them, but it's not. It'd be wrestling of a different kind, I think. If So yeah, it was interesting that they did follow me and they did understand that it wasn't on and it shouldn't be happening in a workshop, but on the same token, nobody said anything. So it was a non-verbal thing, so it's not overtly stopped. So it will happen again. It's just how far it's allowed to go, and obviously it doesn't go as far as it used to in days gone by, I would assume. But yeah, so while things are changing, they're very slow about it. Yeah, and that was just something I noticed, and it's not a big deal. It's just what happens in these kind of places, and we'll just keep an eye on things because we don't want the scuffling to get out of hand. But for the most part, everybody works really individually and really well, so it's kind of good so far. But anyway, best I go to work and earn my money instead of travelling and being a bum. So that concludes an entire week of work. It's the first entire week I've done for a really long time. But it's been a pretty good week. It's interesting. It hasn't gone as I expected. And it's lunchtime. I've come home at lunchtime, and the boys have all gone to the pub, and I don't reckon many of them are going to come back this afternoon. They all took off in the boss's Lincoln Continental, lowered, two-door, pillarless, like mobster car. Looks pretty cool. So I was driving home, and in Auckland, they've got some weather today. It's quite rainy, and there has been a truck blown over on the Harbour Bridge in Auckland, which would be causing major traffic jam. But that's the kind of winds that they have over here. Like in Western Australia, we're used to the Freo Doctor, and just constant. It can be high winds, but just a constant. But here it's really kind of gusty, squally winds, I guess, because they come off the mountains. So it's not a consistent gust, and when it is windy, although it hasn't been windy a lot, but the times it has been windy, it's just really gusty. It's just nothing, and then whoa, it blows through and does a bit of damage. So that was really interesting to hear that it's blown a truck over on the Harbour Bridge. That's how strong the winds can get. Yeah. And the other thing I've heard on the radio is they blame Australians for everything, and they're having to do an audit on the prisons. The prison in Wellington, I think they're doing something in there, because all those deportees that Australia has sent over here, the bikies and stuff that they've sent over here, they are really adept at bribing, apparently, and it's causing dramas in the prison system. So they're having to now go through and audit it and see what's going on. But that's our fault, which is kind of funny. Yeah. So now I'm going to have a shower and finish off my week, and maybe take Ruby op shopping either this afternoon or tomorrow, being Saturday. I need to get some more clothes for work, and I guess she needs a little bit of clothes too. We're running a bit low, having only worn the same bag full of clothes that we came out in 7 months ago. Yeah. So it's all good.